3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh! Oh my God, you got that on video.
Yeah.
You think Mark deserved to get that fish?
No.
Why?
He's not even carrying his own fish.
I love it.
Here we are doing a bonfire with the crew.
Hey, good morning, my friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, here in beautiful Southern California. It is a gorgeous morning. Yeah, it's a little overcast, but there is absolutely no wind at all. And I'm telling you, fishing is red hot in northern Baja and Southern California. We've got it all for you right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these videos if you are enjoying them. We deeply appreciate that. Tick the bell, and you'll be notified when there is new content. And also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, as we are posting there all the time with constant updates and information and educational stuff for you every single moment of the day. You know what time it is, my friends. It's time for the morning briefing. Oh, what a glorious cup of coffee, and man, is fishing good, and we've got it all for you. It is really good here in northern Baja and Southern California, and there's a stretch of yellowfin tuna now for several hundred miles. It's going right up to San Clemente Island, and the water is still kind of cool for that to be occurring, so that tells you what is in our future. It's going to get absolutely crazy here this summer, and as we move into the fall, it's going to get even nuttier when the El Nino really takes hold and the water temperatures really warm up. And that is not going to chase that bluefin tuna out of here. That BFT will bite better in the warmer water. Should mix fine with that yellowfin, and then you're going to see some dorado, and you're going to see more yellowtail. It is going to get crazy. Hey, we've got a trip August the 15th on the beautiful Horizon out of H&M Landing. A few spots left, at least I think there's a few spots left. It's a day and a half trip. I'll be there filming the trip. Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle threatens to be there. A day and a half trip, $535, I think, includes your meals. You must send Captain Bill Wilkerson a text to get on that trip. Not many spots left. 619-985-5179. All right, great to be with you all, and so much to cover. I hope you liked the lead-in. Man, was that cool, that underhand bait and all those fish just coming out of the water, and then the ultimate hookup. That was really, really cool stuff. Scott Buchert remains up there in Alaska. They just got in from doing some tendering, and now they're going to go seine salmon here very soon. But he sent that nice little shot of a campfire in Valdez, Alaska. All right, let me get into it with you all. We'll go south of the border to start things out, and just mention to you that Dennis Lueng, he's a great guy, by the way, he lives down in Baja, California. When we did a drive for some folks that really needed some help down there, he donated a ton of really great food to help us out. We deeply appreciate that. Dennis was down at Garcia's Pongas, and he said, man, it's good down here in San Quintin right now with yellowtail and halibut and full-speed barracuda and calico bass. Can't get much better. Garcia's Pongas, Dennis said, that's going to be a hard trip to replace. It was one of the best he's been on in a long time. Down there in Ensenada, and there's a variety of guys to fish with. Please, I know you have your favorites, go for it. Blackfin Sport Fishing, you saw them on the lead-in, heading out for another day today. They've got a mix of yellowfin and bluefin. If you want to focus on lings and rockfish, you can do that also. Alberto Flores with a nice YFT there. So there's a good mix of fish, and it's only going to get better. Let me just go back in case you haven't been watching the morning briefing and remind you all that Brad Phillips, who used to run sport boats up here in Southern California, is now in Baja, California. And he's been talking to commercial guys who have been fishing outside of Bonitas Island, and from Bonitas 30 miles down, and now moving even closer, obviously, solid, wide open yellowfin tuna for the lift pole boats down there in that neck of the woods, and that is all pointed southwest, right toward Ensenada, San Diego. It's going to get flat good. It already is flat good as fishing in terms of the bluefin, and the yellowfin is really outstanding right now. All right, let me take you to San Diego, give you a couple of scores, and then describe the overall scenario for you, as well as tell you what tackle you're going to need to make it happen. On the Fortune, they had a 2-day trip with novice anglers, guys that really don't know exactly how to catch a fish. And that's where a great crew they become more like teachers. And they did it on the Fortune. Great trip as they limited out on the bluefin tuna. Tremendous trip. They also had a little bit of yellowfin tuna to go along with it. Highliner limits of bluefin tuna. Sea Adventure 80 just missed with limits of bluefin. They may have even caught limits. Last time I checked with them, they were bumping right on the door of limits of bluefin tuna. And the jig strike, well, here comes some of that yellowfin tuna, because they get a stop and it's straight YFT, and they throw over 50 yellowfin on board the jig strike down there out of H&M Landing in San Diego. So that yellowfin that we've been talking about for about a week now, that stretches now really for several hundred miles down the Baja coast, right on up to San Clemente Island. And yes, LA Orange County based boats are getting in on it. The Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. What a fantastic day as they limit out on the bluefin tuna. 30 yellowfin tuna to go along with it. The first of a 2-day. They're out there right now catching fish and having fun. And the Amigo is available there at 22nd Street for some open party trips this week. This would be a really good time to go, no doubt about that. Freedom also out of 22nd Street with a good shot of bluefin tuna, a little bit of yellowfin tuna to go along with it. So as you can hear, we're mixing now with the San Diego based boats, and we've been doing that for a while. But there's fish from down in the corner, right on the border there, to down below for several hundred miles, and also right on up to San Clemente Island. It does not mean they're going to bite for every single boat every single day. As I have been telling you, one boat gets them, one boat doesn't. And sometimes you've got to have the horseshoe with you. The San Diego yesterday had 5 bluefin and 4 yellowfin tuna and 2 bonita. And those guys catch them day in and day out. If they missed, it shows that this can happen to absolutely anybody. Guaranteed they'll come right back with a huge score here today. So keep your eyes on the San Diego. We'll be doing that for you all day long. Now, in terms of the size of fish, you see 15 to 25 pound yellowfin tuna, a few bigger than that. And sometimes they get real finicky, and so do the bluefin tuna. So not only do you have to drop down to like 25 pound Opsin fluorocarbon, www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout, and you'll get a free gift from Greg Brown, and maybe even a hug and a kiss the next time you see him. You can also tell him, back off, buddy, not interested. But that option is good line. You need to drop down to the lighter stuff sometimes. 25 pound will get you a bite with a good hot bait. But one other thing is really important, and that's a smaller hook. Sometimes a number 2 hook. Sometimes guys have been even using smaller than that. Talk to your crew, find out what they say. But that smaller hook is less weight on your bait. Your bait swims more freely. It looks more natural. And those little bluefin and yellowfin say, I'm going to eat you. And that's exactly how it all works. Choosing a good hot bait and changing that bait regularly definitely will make all the difference in the world to your success. So really good bluefin and yellowfin tuna. More yellowfin on the way. That is in our future for sure. You're going to see a lot of that. Water's still very cool, and we have a lot of wind in some areas. Channel Islands are dealing with some wind, and so are we in some areas. But for the most part, we've seen some really nice weather in other areas. You saw that offshore scene when we rolled in with the guy underhanding the bait. Man, I'll tell you, that was gorgeous, flat, calm seas, and we see a lot of that around San Clemente Island right now. So hopefully this thing is going to keep chugging along because it looks really, really good. All right, I need to mention the Coronado Islands because there is some darn good forky fishing going on there. Yellows are biting at the Coronado Islands. All you got to do is ask Richard Cayo, who went on the Mission Bell and met my dear friend Sean Hardigan, the captain of the Bell. He's a great guy. He fishes his tail off day in and day out out of Point Loma sport fishing, and they had really good yellowtail fishing, barracuda, all kinds of other stuff to go along with it. Really fun fishing at the Coronado Islands right now. That place, I mean, it gets overlooked because everybody focuses on the tuna, but the islands, you just talk about constant action, gorgeous surroundings. I don't know how you can beat it. And the Mission Bell is going daily out of Point Loma sport fishing in San Diego. Say hi to Sean Hardigan for me and their great crew. They do a fantastic job, no question about it. All right, taking a look up there in the Channel Islands, there's been some really good hits on white sea bass. We're dealing with wind right now. Hopefully that's going to back off and give us a little bit of a chance along the areas in the Channel Islands. We see good barracuda fishing out there at Santa Cruz Island. I know that our friends on the Island Spirit, Cody Rogers and their great crew, had a little pop of that yesterday. There's some halibut. There's good rock fishing going on. We got to watch this wind, but hopefully that gets out of the picture here very, very soon. Don't miss that Cody Rogers podcast that we did live on the Island Spirit just the other day. That is a good one. So much valuable information to help you along your way. Catalina Island. Why did I skip over Catalina Island? Let's come back to Cat because there's some good fishing going on there. Nick Ramirez was out of berth 55 on the Ara, and they had 11 yellowtail on the boat. Nick had a limit of bonita, and he also caught some calico bass, kept one for a couple of fish tacos. Nick Ramirez said he is so glad he was on board because he had an absolute ball out there at Catalina Island, and Nick is a fabulous person. We love that. Several other boats in on those kinds of scores on the yellows. Most days at Cat, you're going to see from 3 to a dozen yellows on the boat that you're on. You catch a barracuda, bonita, calico bass, maybe a halibut, maybe a sea bass. It's pretty good, consistent fishing. And again, picturesque as all heck. It's gorgeous. Cat is such a gorgeous island, a lot of fun to fish there. There's a lot of boat pressure right now. In fact, I should mention there's an immense amount of boat pressure everywhere. It makes things a little more difficult on the weekends, but hopefully they'll bite here on this gorgeous Sunday, and then you get into Monday, Tuesday, and that backs off a little bit, and that will help quite a bit. So Cat also very, very good. Now, our coastal areas, we are seeing some pretty good surf fishing going on right now with more and more halibut in the surf. We are also seeing a little bit of corvina. More and more of that starting to show up. Still barred perch because the water remains cool. And with this, now the wind starting to pick up a little bit. Went from 0 wind to, maybe 6 knots right now. But with the wind offshore, it's going to keep our water kind of cool. It's trying to warm up in here, 64, 65, and then it'll dip down. So we'll just have to keep our eyes on that. Our local barracuda bite has been nothing short of absolutely magnificent. It's so good to see it. Remember, we saw it down there in Baja, Ensenada, and the Coronado Islands, and we saw it in the Channel Islands, and here in the LA Orange County area, everybody's like, what, did we not use deodorant? What is the problem here? Man, it has really changed. There's some great gar fishing going on. Of course, surface iron is the way to go. We've seen tremendous fishing on the Victory. Our friend Marcus Fain was out on the Victory here recently and just did a number on the gar. Great barracuda fishing. Monte Carlo 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California with 100+ gar, and many other guys with the same kind of scores. Greg Bailey was out on the Native Sun. They had beautiful barracuda fishing and other species along with it, calico bass. There were some people on that trip, by the way, who hadn't fished together for over a decade, and man, it was a beautiful thing, them coming together on the Native Sun, catching fish, renewing old friendships and familia ties. It's really a great thing. So a lot of fun there, no question about that. We also have seen some tremendous rock fishing. If you're still into that, the dolphin, man, they're fishing that deep water and coming up with some really excellent bottom fishing. So that also is continuing if you want to get in on that. I mean, there's a little bit of everything right now going on, and depending upon what it is you want to do, you can find it. Mark Alacrone with a nice halibut in the surf. Unfortunately, he made this poor woman lug his halibut up when he should have done it himself. Just kidding, Mark. Nice catch. Good flatty. Good to see that, my friend. All right, so there is so much going on right now, and I got a feeling we're going to be updating you throughout the day here on this Sunday because So much fish is pushing in here. We've got all kinds of yellowfin and bluefin from San Clemente Island down south. We've had aerial shots of big jags of YFT as they continue to push up the Baja coast, and good fishing at Cat and Clemente and several other areas. San Diego has been really, really good. Don't forget, I mentioned the light line down there in San Diego, like 25 pound. Don't forget, bring your heavy, especially if you're fishing at night. There's some good hits that went down again last night. A lot of times that's that bigger grade fish, and you want to fish at least 130 pound, at least 100 pound. I prefer 130 pound when you're dropping those jigs down at night. And it seems like right now, like jigs in the 300 to 500 gram range have been best. 350 right now seems to be perfect, but you never know about wind and current, so you want to keep some heavy string along with you with 2-speed reels when you're fishing that stuff at night. All right, my friends, I don't know how we can get a much better scenario. Things are definitely headed in the right direction. We'll continue to monitor it. Don't forget about that trip on the horizon, August the 15th. You can book that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tick the bell. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We deeply appreciate that as we're moving toward 3 million views, and we owe that all to you. Have a great Sunday. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all really, really soon. Hey everybody, Philip here from Friedman Adventures. As you are looking at a sundown bite on board the Independence, I've got some scores for you, but before I get to those, I want to tell you there is an immense amount of boat pressure, and the daytime fish are finicky, so you have to drop down to 25-pound fluorocarbon in most cases, fish a small hook like a number 2, choose a good hot bait, change that bait regularly. All that will work to your advantage. It is all very, very important. Mustang, 27 guys, 35 bluefin, 7 yellowfin, Tribute, 50 mixed bluefin and yellowfin, mostly bluefin, and the Aztec limits of bluefin, 5 yellowfin, highliner, limits of bluefin. Some guys are getting them, some guys are not. Again, choosing that hot bait, fishing lighter line, and smaller hooks. Don't forget that. Take care. Have a great one. We'll keep in touch with the latest right here. Barracuda have started to arrive in northern Baja and southern California. Now's a great time to show you how to fillet these delicious eating fish. You have to take proper care of them. Icing them is a good idea. Have a sharp knife. That's the key. And push it down the backbone. You can see there's no sawing back and forth. It's a push. If we slowed this down for you to take a better look. Just push the knife. Sharp knife will do it for you. Now it's time to get the skin off of there. And it's a similar process. You just push the knife down the skin size. Remove those bones and then push the knife and pull the skin back and forth. And then you'll have a perfect fillet. The El Patron just arrived at 22nd Street Landing. They were on a multi-day trip fishing for bluefin tuna and came up with 5 BFT. The weather was up and the fish were off the bite, but one angler did manage 2 fish. So we asked him how he did it.
One was fly line, one was night.
Oh, okay. How heavy a jig at night?
300. No, 400.
400,
It was rough out there.
Did you get bit on the sink?
No, it was on the wine.
On the wine, okay. All right, hey, congratulations. Barracuda fishing heating up in Southern California. I wanted to show you an easy way to unhook your barracuda. Fish a single hooked lure, and then all you have to do is turn the lure upside down and give the fish a shake. Check it out. Turn the lure upside down and give it a shake, and off it goes. Great way to release barracuda. Whoa, another big gar on the iron, Paul.
Oh, what'd you catch?
Nice big gar, man. Woo! Look at that thing. Wind it. Big gar. That's a nice one, dude. That's a nice one, man. See that, Cody? That's a nice fish.